Part 7. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 61. Chapter 61, Taking Advantage of Others. He Yuanhui opened the door in confusion and saw a large truck parked in front of their house. Before he could speak, a delivery person came forward and asked, "Is this Jiaoningsun's home?" Jiaoningsun, who was next to her, quickly opened all the courtyard doors, nodded and said, "It's me. I ordered all the furniture. You guys can move all the furniture in." Okay. Soon, the staff began to move furniture inside. Jiaoningsun is responsible for directing them to put the furniture of which room into each room. He Yuanhui was a little confused. Didn't he say that his cousin wanted to buy a TV? Why are they all furniture? And those beds seem to be very high-end, and the mattresses are not cheap at first glance. He was about to go in and take a look when he saw his eldest aunt Lu Hehua and his second aunt Ya Yunting coming over from the corner of his eye, followed by other people in the village. He suppressed his curiosity and stood at the door. Lu Hehua's house is not far away. As long as there is any movement at her husband's house, she can see it from the door. So she saw another large truck coming at the door of her husband's house. She originally wanted to come alone, so she could take advantage of it alone. But thinking that Jiaoningsun's mouth was really powerful, she called her sister-in-law Ya Yunting over. Lu Hehua and Ya Yunting walked to the door, ignoring He Yuanhui, and wanted to go in. He Yuanhui stopped in front of them without hesitation, with a cold expression on his face. "Grandpa and Grandma said before that you two families are not allowed to go in." Lu Hehua put her hands on her hips and said, "He Yuanhui, are your wings stiff? This is my husband's house and I am your aunt. Why can't I go in?" He Yuanhui said contemptuously, "Humph, the master doesn't want you to go in, so of course you can't go in. Last time you came to the house to borrow money, who knows if you want to take advantage of our busy family this time and have no time to take care of you. What are you doing to sneak in and take advantage?" The chickens, ducks, and geese that my grandparents had raised at home were often taken by these so-called ants. Even the spices in the kitchen are taken care of by these people. Lu Hehua choked, apparently thinking of what they had done before. Ya Yunting hurriedly tried to smooth things over and said, "Yuanhui, let's not talk about the past. It's okay if we don't go in. Can you tell me, did your family buy new furniture?" When He Yuanhui saw the staff coming to carry furniture, he frowned and drove them out of the door. He said impatiently, "Don't stand here and affect other people's work. Are you buying new furniture? Don't you have the eyes to see? You." Ya Yunting almost died of anger. None of the children nowadays are polite. What are you talking about? We just care about our husband's family and come here to have a look. How could you use such a bad tone to speak to us elders? He Yuanhui glanced at the villagers watching the excitement. "Everyone, do you think I should respect people like this who don't support their parents? If I respect them, doesn't it mean that I approve of their actions, and I can learn from them in the future? Are you supporting your parents?" The villagers all knew about Lao Chiao's family, but they were all in the village, raising their heads but not looking down, and they didn't want to offend anyone, so everyone just smiled and said nothing. He Yuanhui didn't mind either. He had gotten used to it over the years. When his two aunts refused to leave, he continued to stand there and never let them in. After a while, the two elders who noticed the movement at home in the distance also came back. Ya Yunting saw the second elder coming here from a distance, licking her face and said, "Dad, Mom, are your family getting rich? Why did you buy so much new furniture? If you get rich, don't forget for those of us who are children, please support us." Lu Hehua also said shamelessly, "That's right, our child is also named Jiao, and he is your grandson. If you support us, you will support your grandson." Jiao Kongsheng said angrily, "It's none of your business to get rich. Don't think that I don't know what you mean. In the past, if I had any good things in my house, you would find a way to get them. These were all bought by Ning Xuan. What do? You, the elder, have the nerve to something bought by the younger one. Lu Hehua and Ye Yunting were extremely embarrassed that their thoughts could be seen through so easily. Ning Xuan bought it? Does she have such great ability? Don't tell me that the old man is afraid of them robbing him, so he said that on purpose, right? The woman next to me asked, did Ning Xuan pay for these? Ye Kaixiang said, yes, you all know what our family was like before. My daughter Shulan is still unemployed. How can we have money to buy furniture? The woman nodded when she heard this, and that was indeed the truth. The recent changes in Lao Chiao's family only happened after Chiao Ningxun came back. Just why is Chiao Ningxun so rich? Is the compensation more than 300,000 yuan? The others saw that Lao Chiao's family was very busy, so they felt embarrassed to disturb them here, and they all left one after another. Lu Hehua and Ye Yunting saw this and had no choice but to go home, but they kept looking in the direction of Lao Chiao's house at the door. The installation masters only cover installation and do not deal with old furniture. Chiao Ningxun didn't want his family to be tired, so he gave the masters extra money to help move to the yard. Those old furniture are all made of solid wood and can be chopped up and used as firewood in the future. The masters readily agreed when they heard that they had money to take. Chiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang looked very uncomfortable as they saw the installation masters coming in and out, and soon they started installing furniture. They actually used their granddaughter's money again. As soon as He Yuanhui returned, he went to his house excitedly. Seeing that there was new furniture waiting to be installed in his own house, he went to He Yuanyang's house to have a look, and sure enough, there was also some. Even other empty rooms are available. He quickly came to Chiao Ningxun's side and said excitedly, "Cousin, you are so kind. You even changed the furniture in my and my eldest brother's house. Is this the surprise you mentioned yesterday?" "It's one of the surprises." Chiao Ningxun said with a serious look, "You have beds, wardrobes, desks, bookcases, and sofas in your room. You must study hard for me in the future, or I will chop down all the furniture in your room firewood, do you understand?" He Yuanhui said with a smile, "Yes, I understand, I will listen to my cousin." Chiao Kongsheng saw Chiao Ningxun coming out of the house. "Ningxun, actually you can just change the furniture in your room. We are old, and we may not sleep for many years before the new furniture will be buried. By then, those furniture it's such a pity to throw away something that the dead have slept on." Chiao Ningxun said helplessly, "Grandpa, I said you can live a long life, so you can definitely live a long life. Don't say such things in the future." End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 62. Seeing that his granddaughter was a little unhappy, Chiao Kongsheng was immediately frightened. "Okay, Grandpa, don't talk anymore. I thank you for improving our accommodation conditions." Chiao Ningxun was satisfied. "Well, it's okay, it should be." Lu Hehua and Ye Yunting have been watching the situation of their husband's family. The two of them were filled with jealousy when they thought that their husband's family had so many good things. Ningxun is also a fool. He doesn't know how to buy a house in the city. If he has money, spending it on an old man or an old woman is a waste. That's right, those furniture, I think, are all good stuff, better than what we are using now. The old man and the old woman are blessed now, having such a silly granddaughter as Ningxun. It would be great if those things were ours. We children haven't used such good furniture yet. Lu Hehua became more active, glanced around, and whispered, "What would happen if we quietly moved those things to our house?" Ye Yunting said in surprise, "Isn't this stealing?" Lu Hehua said, "That's our husband's house. We got married there, that is, our own home. If we move our own things, can it be considered stealing?" And what if they catch us? The old man and you don't know the old woman's temper? What did they say when we took their chickens, ducks, and geese? We are the biological mothers of their grandchildren. Do they dare to send us to prison? Ya Yunting's heart suddenly moved. Those pieces of furniture were so good that she couldn't help but be moved by them. Let's go back and talk to the leaders. If they agree, we will do it. Okay. They stared at the door for a while, hearing the sound of furniture being installed in the distance, and they felt itchy. 2 hours later, the furniture truck finally left. At this time, Qiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang were standing in their room, and it was impossible not to be excited. In the past, there was only a 2-door wardrobe in their house, which was very short and could not hold many clothes. Many times, clothes are packed into a box, which was given to Ye Kaixiang as a dowry back then. Now, their room has a 2-meter large bed, 2 bedside tables next to it, a set of 2-meter 4 6-door wardrobe, a dressing table, a small round table, 2 chairs, and a floor-to-ceiling mirror. There is also a bedroom sofa set. They also went to look at other rooms just now. They were all the same, except that there were extra desks in the children's room. Qiao Ningxun went in and asked with a smile, "Grandpa and Grandma, how are you doing? Do you still like it?" Ye Kaixiang's eyes suddenly became moist. "Ningxun, we didn't bring you up. You are so good to us. Grandpa and Grandma really feel that they deserve it?" Qiao Ningxun hugged her grandma and said with a smile, "But you are my mother's parents. You took her in after her divorce. You didn't think her divorce had lost your face. You helped her when she was in the most difficult time. Yeah, it's only right that I treat you well." In some rural areas, many people think that divorce will make parents lose face. Some people are so cruel that they even kill their daughters directly. They would rather go back and say that their daughter died in an accident than lose their face due to divorce. The 2 elders were so moved when they heard this that it was hard to say anything. He Yuanhui stepped forward and said, "Cousin, I also want to thank you. My room is really beautiful now. I like it so much." Qiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows and said, "If you want to thank me, go study quickly." He Yuanhui nodded, "Well, I will study hard and repay you well." After saying that, he really went to study. Qiao Ningxun stepped forward and touched the mattress. "Grandpa, Grandma, I heard that old people can't sleep on anything that is too soft, so I asked the masters to put the hard side directly on the top." Ye Kaixiang said, "You are right, the hard side is fine. If we sleep on the soft side, we will get dizzy." At this moment, Qiao Ningxun heard the sound of honking the horn again. He guessed that the person delivering electrical appliances had arrived, and hurried to greet him. As soon as she opened the door, a young man saw that it was a child who opened the door, and asked politely, "Is this Ms. Qiao Ningxun?" Qiao Ningxun said, "I bought the home appliances." The young man nodded and said to the people in the car, "This is it. Come down and move." Soon, the delivery personnel began to move. The same as the transportation, they also installed the same. Before Qiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang had time to ask, they saw 3 more cars parked. Qiao Ningxun said that they installed electric lights and curtains in Lao Qiao's house, and renovated the kitchen and toilet. Since we have to replace them, we must replace them all. The electric light used in Lao Qiao's house now is still the same one used in the 1980s and 1990s, which is just a light bulb. There is also a kitchen, which was very simple before, just an ordinary large stove, and you had to cut firewood every day. Since all the villages are connected to natural gas, she plans to install a gas stove and turn on the natural gas. There are also toilets. The previous toilets were ordinary rural toilets. Going to the toilet in summer is really uncomfortable, there are many mosquitoes, and bathing is inconvenient. There are only a few poor households in the village that have not renovated their toilets, so she also renovated them this time. There are showers and bathroom heaters, which are really convenient for taking a bath in summer and winter. Hearing this, Qiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang stopped saying any more words of thanks, as any more words would be pretentious. They made up their mind to be doubly nice to their granddaughter in the future. He Yuanhui was reading a book when he heard someone knocking on the door. When he opened the door, he saw the person coming and said he was installing electrical appliances for them, so he had to leave the room and go downstairs. He was shocked to learn that the toilet and kitchen would be renovated. Seeing various electrical appliances being moved into the home, he excitedly said, "Cousin, you not only bought a TV, but also a refrigerator." Qiao Ningxun smiled and nodded, "Yes, not only the refrigerator, but also the air conditioner, microwave oven, water purifier, plumbing machine, and I also bought a computer for your and your cousin's house. This is another a surprise. Although she can control the temperature, she can't stay here all the time. She will have to leave here in the future to study and work, so it is better to install an air conditioner." He Yuanhui was surprised when he heard about computers. "Can I have a computer too?" Qiao Ningxun nodded, "Well, using a computer is very helpful for learning and can broaden your horizons, so a computer is a must. When they get into college, they will know how useful it is to know computers in advance. But," Qiao Ningxun added, "you must meet my requirements for this final exam. You can play casually during the summer vacation. Otherwise, I will only give you half an hour to play every day." He Yuanhui felt nervous. After the installer installed all the electrical appliances and computers in his house, he quickly went to study, not even daring to touch the computer mouse next to him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 63. Anyway, the final exam is in a few days, so he can have fun then. On the other side, Lu Hehua and Ye Yunting saw the big truck leaving and were about to go over to see what the furniture looked like. Unexpectedly, several more trucks came and suddenly stopped at the door of their husband's house. Their first reaction was to guess that Lao Qiao's family had bought a lot of good things, so they quietly went over to take a look. As they expected, it could be seen from the packaging of the box that it was full of electrical appliances, and all of them were big brands that they could only dream of buying. Oh my God, Ningxun is so willing to buy so many expensive things. Standing at the door, they looked through the crack in the door and saw that all the lights and curtains had been replaced, and the kitchen and toilet were also being renovated. They were even more surprised. Qiao Ningxun probably spent hundreds of thousands on the flooring, furniture, and electrical appliances of the whole house this time. Lu Hehua asked in confusion. Qiao Ningxun used 300,000 yuan to pay off her debts. How come she still has so much money to buy these things? Ye Yunting said, "You forgot, she is selling mushrooms." "How much are the mushrooms worth?" "A bag can be sold for up to 200 to 300 yuan a day." After Lu Hehua finished speaking, something suddenly occurred to her and her eyes widened suddenly. "I heard that some fungi are very expensive. Could it be that all the fungi she found were particularly expensive?" Ye Yunting's face was very ugly. "It must be, otherwise how could she have so much money? People go to Lao Qiao's house every day these days, and they must be here to buy it." Lu Hehua suddenly became angry. "Second sister is too selfish. She found something that can make money, and she actually made a fortune without telling our family. I want to ask her what she is worried about." Huang Daniu, who was standing next to them at some point, suddenly said, "Shulanan has good intentions. You have left your parents-in-law to her for so many years, and you even taught your children not to be filial to their grandparents, and you still expect her to make money. I can take you with me when you dream." Ye Yunting said solemnly, "Does our family's matter have anything to do with you?" Are you going to say it so harshly? Huang Daniu snorted and said with contempt on her face, am I wrong? Have you not bullied your father-in-law and mother-in-law these years? If Shulan hadn't come back, the honest Uncle Kong Sheng and Aunt Cakexiang would have been bullied to death by you. The house has been occupied by you, and you still expect other people's daughters to help you make money, just go ahead and dream. After saying this, she rolled her eyes at the two of them and returned home. Lu Hehua and Ye Yunting were so angry that they were trembling all over. They really couldn't figure it out and had to go to Lao Chiao's house to get an explanation. It's just that the door of Lao Chiao's house is still closed. When the masters leave at night, it is already very late, so they can only give up temporarily. As for Lao Chiao's house, the people who renovated the yard came again the next day, and the kitchen and renovation work continued. Everyone seemed very busy, and the door was always closed, so they couldn't find a chance to go there. Until 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, all the renovation work on Chiao's house was finally completed. After Chiao Ningxun accepted the work, he also paid each master's wages. At this time, the second elder looked at the brand new yard and felt very happy. There was a cement floor in the yard before, but not much. And in order to save money, very little cement was used. It has cracked in many places, and a large piece falls off every day when sweeping the floor. To make the yard look better, Chiao Ningxun had the original cement floor knocked out and then installed non-slip floor tiles. The vegetable plot is surrounded by red bricks and ceramic tiles to prevent the soil from being washed out and soiling the yard when it rains. In order to allow my family to eat healthy and pesticide-free fruits in the future, I have also planted several fruit trees in the yard to ensure that there is fruit to eat at home all year round. Everyone in the family likes to eat grapes. In order to be able to eat grapes without pesticides in the future, there is a grape trellis in the yard, and she has already had the grape seedlings transplanted. In order to enjoy the cool air in the yard in summer, a pavilion was built so that the family could drink tea in the morning and evening, or do other daily necessities. Furthermore, she also asked someone to build a small pond in the center of the yard, where she could usually raise some river fish, which would be more convenient when she wanted to eat fish and shrimp. Of course, everyone in the village likes to raise poultry. Chiao Ningxun also designed a place to raise chickens, ducks, and geese, and built a sewage ditch. Just flush with water, all the dirt can be washed away, and the yard is not so smelly. The toilets and kitchens have also been renovated like those in the city, with many floor tiles, suspended ceilings, cabinets, range hoods, water heaters, etc. There are even 2 toilets, one for squatting and one for sitting, and both use water to flush away the dirt. One consideration is that the toilet is sufficient in case of visitors to the home. Another consideration is that it will be more convenient to have a toilet when the 2 elders get older and have difficulty squatting down. The distance from the corridor to the kitchen and toilet is also covered with glass canopies and enclosures, making it easier to come and go smoothly when it rains and the wind blows, and it will not be too cold at night in winter. After looking at the yard, the second elder turned to look at the living room. As soon as you walk into the living room, there is a 70-inch TV and TV cabinet on the far left. Directly opposite is a row of sofas with a coffee table in the middle. At this time, there are health-preserving teapots, teacups, snacks, fruits, and other items on the coffee table. Beside the sofa, there is a large dining table and 8 chairs. Not far from the large dining table, there is a large double-door refrigerator that can store a lot of food. In the corner of the TV cabinet is a latest cylindrical air conditioner. The lamp in the middle was replaced by a rectangular crystal square lamp. When turned on, it is several times brighter than the original light bulb. Ye Cakexiang smiled and said, "Our home is really beautiful now. I never dreamed that we could live such a good life." Half a month ago, their family still had a debt of 300,000 yuan, and they were still worried about the tuition fees of their children. In just half a month, their home has undergone earth-shaking changes. No one would believe it if they told it. Chiao Kongsheng turned his head solemnly and said, Ning Sun, Grandpa and Grandma really thank you. Don't worry, after 100 years, all our family property will only be given to your mother and your fourth uncle. Of course, your mother will account for the majority. After all, the fourth child has paid child support every month, so just leave some money for him in the future. Shulan and Laozi have always had a good relationship and have always helped each other. I believe she will not mind. The daughter does not have a house, but her household registration is here, so she should inherit their house. Yakaxiang agreed very much. Yes, I heard that a notarized will is most effective. We will find a time to notarize it, and we will leave this family to Shulan from now on. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 64. Chiao Ningxun knew the temperament of her grandparents and she would definitely do what she decided to do. She didn't try to persuade her. This was what her mother deserved. She nodded with a smile, thank you so much, Grandpa and Grandma. Seeing that his granddaughter did not refuse, Chiao Kongsheng felt better. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Chiao Ningxun quickly stepped forward to open it and saw the village chief and a group of villagers standing at the door. Chiao Kongsheng saw the person coming from a distance, and quickly walked over, asking doubtfully, Village chief, who are you? The village chief said helplessly, I saw that your house has been undergoing renovations these days, and the renovation workers have all left today, so I wanted to come over and take a look. Unexpectedly, when these people saw me coming, they also came to take a look. Look. As a village leader, you should care about the villagers. He also understood the curiosity of the villagers. Originally, Lao Chiao's family was considered one of the poorest families in the village, but suddenly it changed and everyone wanted to come and have a look. Chiao Kongsheng took a look at those people. He estimated that there were 12 or 3 people, both men and women. Seeing that his 3 daughters-in-law were all inside, and there were so many outsiders, and the daughters-in-law had bad tempers, he didn't want his daughters-in-law to cause trouble, so he could only nod his head, okay, come in. He also wanted to show off a little bit in his heart, and wanted people to see that although he had unfilial children, he had a filial granddaughter. Chiao Ningxun didn't have any objections after hearing this, and let the people in the village see that from now on, their old Chiao family will no longer be the family they looked down upon before. Soon, the villagers filed in. As soon as they entered, their eyes lit up at the same time. Oh my God, this yard is so beautifully decorated. Yeah, it's just like the courtyard of a wealthy family on TV. Beautiful, really beautiful. There are more fruit trees than before, and some of these fruit trees are bearing fruit. The village chief also said, yes, it is indeed beautiful. The 3 daughters-in-law of the Chiao family felt extremely distressed when they saw the yard in front of them. I don't know how much money it would cost to have such a beautiful yard. It would be great to give this money to their family. They don't know how much it will cost for their children to study and marry. Waste. However, they felt better when they thought that the 3 of them would be eligible to share the old couple's property in the future. The group of people went to the living room and took a look again, and saw that the floor was even paved in the room, and there were all the TVs, air conditioners, refrigerators, sofas, etc., and the old electric lamps had been replaced with crystal lamps. The village chief looked at Chiao Kongsheng in surprise, are these all Ningxun's ideas? This home, except for the appearance, is no different from his home inside. No, the quality of those things looks better than those from his family, and they look better. Chiao Kongsheng nodded, yes, Ningxun is a filial child, these are all Ningxun's money. Everyone looked at Chiao Ningxun in a different way. Ya Yunting glanced at the back room and suddenly said, Dad, Mom, can we see your room? 2 old people have limited legs and feet and live on the first floor. Although Yakaxiang didn't like this daughter-in-law, She saw that the others also wanted to see her, so she had to take them there. In order not to stain the floor, they all asked the guests to wear shoe covers bought by Jiao Ningxuan. Yakaxiang opened the bedroom door. That's the layout. Every room has a similar layout, except that the room for the 3 children has an extra desk and bookcase. No one went in, they just looked at the door. Many women looked envious when they saw the 2-meter large bed and large wardrobe, as well as the brand new bedroom sofa and dressing table inside. Lu Hehua was extremely jealous. She had never lived in such a good room. The old couple didn't know what good things they had done in their previous lives to enjoy such happiness in this life. She really wants to live in it too. After all, they grew up together and the village chief was sincerely happy for Jiao Kongsheng. Kongsheng, you are fine now and your life is better. He is the village chief and knew that Jiao Kongsheng and Yakaxiang also bought pension insurance. However, their family's situation was complicated, so he did not tell them directly. Jiao Kongsheng said with a smile, it's because Ningxun is filial and not afraid of everyone laughing. These are all the money Ningxun paid. Yakaxiang glanced at the 3 daughters-in-law meaningfully. Yes, these things all belong to Ningxun, and they will only be given to her and her mother in the future. We are just for temporary use. If they are lost suddenly, Ningxun will have to. If you call the police, we will support you. Lu Hehua, Ye Yunting, and Lu Yuero's faces suddenly turned pale when they heard this. Is the mother-in-law trying to remind them not to think about those good things in the future? It's really too much. She actually asked Jiao Ningxun to throw something and call the police. We are all members of the same family. How could her mother-in-law be so ruthless? So what if they come to get some things? We are all one family, why are we so divided? Jiao Ningxun nodded. Yes, with so many new things in the house, there will definitely be a lot of people thinking about it. Maybe thieves have already targeted our house now. But I'm not afraid. I have installed surveillance cameras in the yard. Who can she came to my house and stole something? I can see it on my phone and send her to jail. I heard that people who have been in jail are those with criminal records. Their children will not be able to serve in the military or engage in any profession within 3 generations. Even good foreign companies won't want them to work in state agencies, and the impact is huge. Hearing this, many people turned to look at the 3 daughters-in-law of Lao Jiao's family. They all knew exactly who Jiao Ningxun was talking to. After all, this kind of thing had happened to old Jiao's family before. When the 3 of them saw everyone's looks, they couldn't bear it. They quickly excused themselves to have something to do at home and ran away. A woman asked curiously, Ningxun, how much money were you compensated back then? You took out 100,000 yuan to pay off the debt, and you renovated the house a lot, so it probably cost 200,000 yuan to 300,000 yuan, right? The faces of everyone in the Jiao family turned cold. This is too borderless. As expected of Lu Hehua's younger sister, she is just as annoying as her elder sister. Although Jiao Ningxun was dissatisfied with Lu Maihua's directness, she still said calmly, many people know that the money I earn from looking for fungi in the mountains is worth asking. Do you still need to ask? Lu Maihua said with an obvious look of disbelief, but we went to the mountains to search for several days, and we only saw the toadstools that the old man talked about when we were young, but we didn't see any fungi that could be sold for money. Jiao Ningxun spread his hands helplessly. Looking for fungi depends on luck. If you can't find them, it can only be said that you are unlucky. Since Lu Maihua was so ignorant and asked directly, she didn't have to give her a good face. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 65. Chapter 65, Stay for a while. Lu Maihua's face fell. This was the first time that she was so disrespected by a junior. However, thinking that her goal had not been achieved, she could only laugh and said, I am unlucky, but from what you said, That fungus seems to be very valuable. Since it is so valuable and belongs to the same village, you can't just if you don't want us to get rich, you can help us get rich. Another woman said, that's right, the mountain is the mountain of our Daguo village. You, a backer from another village, got rich. We didn't pursue it before. But you can't move all the wealth of our Daguo village to your home. That's our wealth too. Seeing how shameless they were, Yekaixiang immediately became angry. She didn't think that Lu Maihua was her daughter-in-law's sister at all. Lu Maihua, what the are you talking about? I want to take you with you when you get rich. Then when your family was doing business to make money, and you didn't even think about taking us? At that time, our family had more than 200,000 yuan in debt. After saying that, she looked at the woman next to her. Chen Yingying, what is the mountain in Daguo village? What other village? My granddaughter's household registration has also been moved here. Now her surname is also Chiao. She is now from Daguo village. The village the elder can testify. Also, do the things on Daguo mountain belong to you? They say they are your wealth. My granddaughter didn't pick up so many fungi on the mountain in the past. Why didn't you know how to pick them up then? The fungi have become your pockets. Did you find one that you can sell? Now that my granddaughter has made money selling mushrooms, it's yours. Why don't you grab it? The mountain is so big that we can't finish it in days and nights. My granddaughter only goes out for 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and she doesn't stay on the mountain 24 hours a day. Have we stopped you from going up the mountain these days? You can't find it yourself. Come on, who is to blame? Or my granddaughter? Lu Maihua and Chen Yingying's faces turned blue and white. Yekaixiang, wasn't she someone who was bullied by her daughter-in-law before and didn't dare to fight back? When did she dare to speak so loudly? Sure enough, your family is rich, you have confidence, and your waist is straight. Hearing this, the village chief also glared at Lu Maihua and Chen Yingying. You deserve to be scolded. Ningxun did move to Daguo village and changed his surname to Chiao. It's really too much for you to say such a thing to a child. Leave quickly, the mountain is so big, if you want to make money, you have to climb up and find it yourself. How far can she go? Ends. He is still a child, he must protect him. Hearing this, the two of them saw other people staring at them, and they suddenly felt ashamed to stay any longer, and left in despair. Others also saw what they should see and left one after another. Originally, some of them had objections to Chiao Ningxun's making a fortune by collecting mushrooms from the mountains, but what others said was right. Before others came back, no one among them had made a fortune by collecting mushrooms. And if other people's household registration is also here, they are even less qualified to say anything. Just after the villagers left, the 3 daughters-in-law of Lao Chiao's family returned at the same time. Chiao Kongsheng said impatiently, what are you doing here again? Lu Hehua smiled and said, Dad, we are your daughter-in-law. Isn't it normal for us to go back to our husband's house? Chiao Ningxun snorted coldly and said bluntly, I think you guys want to come here to reap the benefits. The expressions of the 3 of them suddenly changed. This child was speaking too directly. Ya Yunding frowned and said, Chiao Ningxun, you're talking too little. Chiao Ningxun rolled her eyes at them, I learned this from you. I heard that before my mother returned to her parents' home, you used this tone to bully my grandparents. You. Yekaixiang said with a look of boredom, okay, tell me what you want to do quickly, we still have to do things, and we don't have time to waste with you. Lu Yuero didn't notice the disgusted look on her mother-in-law's face, and said with a smile, Mom, we don't have any other intentions, but isn't the school going to be out for summer vacation soon? We want to send your grandchildren back for you to see. Let them stay for a while. When the time comes when the second elder's grandchildren like something, she won't believe it, and the second elder is reluctant to give it to them. A refrigerator today, an air conditioner tomorrow, a sofa the day after tomorrow. By then they can also enjoy these good things. Chiao Ningsun said quietly, "Why did I hear that you never let your children come over during the summer vacation before?" "What do you mean? The grandparents' house is dirty, there is a dry toilet at home, and there is no air conditioning water heater, so it is inconvenient to bathe and sleep. Once the summer vacation comes, the excuse is that the children need to make up for their studies and are not allowed to come back, even though they are all in the same village." Lu Yuero said with a smile, "Okay, to be honest, I was afraid that my children would suffer before, so I didn't let them come back. But now that the conditions at home are better, there is TV and internet, so of course the children are willing to come. There was no internet at home before. And there's no TV, so it's understandable that they don't want to come." Chiao Ningsun asked again, "Excuse me, who made it so that this family couldn't even afford a TV before? Before my mother came back, my grandparents didn't even have $1,000 a month to sell vegetables, and they had to support my watch. My brother and cousin often eat porridge with pickles. As for you, you eat and drink at home every day, and you often use my uncle's money to send gifts to your natal family. You don't pay alimony, you haven't taken care of my grandparents for a day, and you want my grandparents to raise your children for free for more than 2 months during the summer vacation, and let your children eat and drink at our house for free. The abacus is too loud. Come on." The expressions of the three people suddenly changed. This child was so smart that he actually knew their true inner thoughts. Most children today are very picky eaters, eating whatever is expensive and eating a lot of snacks and fruits during summer vacation. If they can stay at grandma's house, all three of them can save a lot of money. Summer is here, and air conditioning costs a lot of money. Ya Yunting frowned and said, "But if your grandson wants to go back to his grandma's house, his parents can't stop him." Chiao Kongsheng snorted, "Now we are all supported by Shulan and Ningxuan. How can we have the money to raise your children? Shulan and her daughter have no obligation to raise your children." Yekaxiang also said angrily, "Grandson? We don't have grandsons like them." Lu Hehua asked dissatisfiedly, "Dad, Mom, do you mean to say that you don't welcome your grandchildren back?" Chiao Kongsheng said without thinking, "We are not welcome. The children of the three of you have long been taught by you to disrespect your grandparents. When they saw us in the past, they either disliked us for having no money, or disliked us for being too old and smelling bad." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 66. Chapter 66 Lu Yufeng Lu Yuhao. When they were born, you didn't even let us hold them even though we live in the same village, we don't see each other several times throughout the year. One time I wanted to hug them, and they actually called me an old man. What our relationship was like before, our relationship will still be the same after that. I have 2 grandchildren from the 4th family and 3 grandsons and granddaughters. That's enough." The 3 of them were startled. How could the old couple be so heartless? Ya Yunting turned to Yekaxiang and asked, "Mom, do you think so too?" Yekaxiang nodded, "Of course." The 3 of them knew that they would not get any benefits today, so they could only hold their breath and leave. "Wait a minute," Chiao Ningxun suddenly shouted. The 3 of them turned their heads. Lu Yuero thought Chiao Ningxun was about to let go, so she said excitedly, "What?" Chiao Ningxun said, "Don't come here anymore if you have nothing to do. I'm busy at home and don't have time to entertain you. Don't even think about stealing anything. I will really call the police." The 3 people's faces darkened, and they suddenly became even more angry. But seeing Chiao Kongsheng looking at them intently, as if he would fight them to the death if they dared to do anything to Jiaoningsun. They had no choice but to leave. After everyone left, Ye Kaixiang took a mop and mopped the floor. Such a good wooden floor must be kept clean at all times. Regardless of whether there are dirty shoes or not, she must mop them twice a day. Not long after the villagers left, people sent by Du Kunpeng also came to collect the fungi. These days, Jiaoningsun has been taking out some fungi every day. In order not to make people suspect that she has a fixed channel, the quantity she takes out is different every time, but overall she can sell $200,000 to $300,000 every day. Although the renovation work did cost some money, she now has millions on hand. Even though the conditions at home have improved a lot, the two elders still can't sit still and go to work in the fields. Jiaoningsun didn't stop them. As long as they put on their hats, she would cast magic on their bodies, so they wouldn't feel hot. Jiaoningsun suddenly looked at Xiaoiche. Xiaoha, how are you doing with the herbs I asked you to find these days? After finishing her work at home, she had to concentrate on preparing the scar removal cream for Qiao Nianyi. She has taken the time to concoct a lot of herbal medicine in the past few days. Even if she wants to use it now, she can use it directly. Little Ha lazily stood up from the kennel, stretched his front legs first, then his hind legs, and then nodded. Jiaoningsun asked again, have you found them all? Woof. Of course, do you think I am an ordinary dog? But this place is also full of outstanding people, and there are still many villagers who don't know the goods, so I can find them so quickly. Jiaoningsun was extremely pleasantly surprised. It seems that Deguo Mountain has more species than I imagined. After saying that, she picked up her backpack, took Xiaoha, and left the house. After locking the courtyard door, she walked up the mountain. Now everyone in the village knows that she has made a fortune selling mushrooms, and many people have been staring at her in the past few days. But she had been on the mountain at 12 o'clock in the morning, and the fungi she took were all from the space. Every time she went down the mountain, the villagers found her, and there was no chance of following her to pick up the leeks. Now I saw her walking up the mountain with a backpack on her back early in the morning, and many people were following her. Among them were Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai, as well as her 3 aunts. Zhang Chao followed quietly and said as he walked, but wait until she goes out. When she finds the fungus, we will go up and grab it. Anyway, she is alone, so she will definitely not be able to grab it from us. We definitely don't dare to let the dog hurt us, otherwise she will lose money. Zhang Cai chuckled, but when he saw the other people behind him, his face suddenly fell. A bunch of old ladies just want to join in the fun. If they dare to stop us from making a fortune, I will be rude to them. Zhang Chao said, okay, don't talk for now, if Jiaoningsun finds out, we will be finished. Oh. Xiaoha walked slowly in front, suddenly stopped and looked behind him. Jiaoningsun patted its head and said without looking back, don't worry, I know there are people behind you. It's okay. We can just get rid of them later. Although she came here to find herbs, they couldn't take advantage of her, but they couldn't let anyone see her using magic to induce the birth of herbs. Woof. Alright. After walking for 5 minutes, Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai suddenly stopped and rubbed their eyes at the same time. Zhang Chao said in surprise, where is the person? He was in front of me just now. Zhang Cai said, yeah, I just saw her squatting down, her figure was blocked by the grass, and then she walked over and there was no one there. Where was the person? The two of them thought about what happened when they were about to destroy the loquat tree that day. They looked at each other in horror, suddenly trembled and ran down the mountain quickly. Ghost, there must be a ghost. Lu Hehua had been following Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai. When he saw them running down, he asked, you won't follow? Others also looked serious when they saw their expressions as if they had seen a ghost. Zhang Chao and Zhang Cai were so frightened that they had no time to pay attention to them and ran away from them. Lu Hehua turned around and said, Yunting, you Ero, is there something in front of you? Yeah, Yunting said, don't worry about it. There haven't been any ferocious beasts on the mountain for many years. Follow us quickly. If you don't follow today, it will be wasted again. Makes sense. Others didn't waste any time and hurried to find Xiaoning Sun. It was just that they walked more than 100 meters. After knowing that they had really lost Xiaoning Sun, they had no choice but to look for the fungi themselves. However, most people lost their patience after searching for half an hour. Their bodies were still covered in large mosquito bites, and some even saw poisonous snakes, so they all went down the mountain and went home. On the other side, Xiaoningsun had already arrived at the herbs she needed and began to collect them. 2 hours later, she already had a lot of the herbs she needed in her space, and she also put some in her backpack for cover. While there was no one around, she used fairy magic to quickly go down the mountain. Only when I was halfway up the mountain, I suddenly heard the voice of a child. Xiaoningsun stopped suddenly and listened carefully to the specific direction. Suddenly, she walked to the southwest. Just 50 meters away, a boy about 5 years old saw her and said as if he was seeing a savior, Sister, please save my brother, please save my brother. Xiaoningsun took a closer look and saw a boy about 7 years old falling into a big pit. The big pit was full of water, and the child was so small that his feet were stuck in the mud and couldn't get out, and he was sweating profusely. Xiaoningsun took a closer look at the appearance of the two people, and suddenly remembered that these two people were also from Deguo village, and their names were Lu Yufeng and Lu Yuhao respectively. Their father was disabled after a fall a few years ago and could only lie down or sit every day. Grandpa is also suffering from illness and relies solely on their mother to work in the city. The conditions at home are similar to those of Lao Chiao's family before she came back. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 67. She put down the backpack without any further delay, quickly took out the rope and tied a knot under the cover of the backpack, then threw it on the child in the pit. Lu Yufeng, put the rope under your armpit, sister will pull you come up. Lu Yufeng nodded nervously and put the rope on his body as she said. Xiaoningsun waited for him to put it on, and then pulled him up with force. She also discovered in the past few days that as the spiritual power in her body increased, her strength became stronger and stronger. It is more than enough to pull a child up. Lu Yuhao saw that his brother was really pulled up, and he jumped up excitedly on the spot. Great, brother is here, sister is so powerful. Xiaoningsun saw that Lu Yufeng was covered in mud, so she had no choice but to take him to the river not far away for a rough wash first. After washing, she asked, how did you fall? Such a big pit, it should be easy to see. Just Xiaoningsun waited for a while, and neither brother said anything. Xiaoningsun looked up and saw them looking behind her with fearful faces. Don't be afraid, that's my sister's dog, its name is Zioha, it doesn't bite. If it wanted to bite, it would have pounced on it long ago. The two children suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Xiaoningsun asked, Lu Yufeng, can you tell me why you fell? Lu Yufeng was hesitant, his eyes evasive. I heard from my family that you made money by going up the mountain to look for fungi. Many people came to the mountain, so he quietly took his younger brother and followed them up the mountain. But after a while, those people all came down the mountain. Yes, we were walking slowly, lost our way, wandered around, and accidentally fell down. Xiaoningsun raised his eyebrows. This kid is quite thoughtful. If you don't tell the truth, then I will keep you here and leave. The two children were immediately frightened. Lu Yufeng was anxious and could only tell the truth. I said, we found something that looked very valuable. When I went to pick it, I accidentally dropped it. Jiao Ningxun was a little curious. What is this? Don't worry, I won't compete with you. Is it also a fungus? Hearing this, Lu Yufeng had no choice but to take her to the foot of a tree next to the big pit. That's it? Although I don't know what it is, I know it must be something valuable. Jiao Ningxun stepped forward and took a closer look. After seeing the specific appearance of the thing, he looked at the two children with admiration and said, "This is indeed a valuable thing. You guys have really good taste." Lu Yufeng's eyes suddenly lit up. "Sister, do you know her too?" Jiao Ningxun nodded. "Well, this is purple Ganoderma lucidum, which is considered expensive among the types of Ganoderma lucidum. Purple Ganoderma was also mentioned in medical books. She was looking for it when it appeared unexpectedly. How come Xiaoha didn't notice it before?" Xiaoha saw Jiao Ningxun turning his head and looking at him as if he were a fool, and shouted, "Woof! You didn't show me this picture before, so of course I didn't bring you to find it. It's not that I'm useless." Lu Yufeng and Lu Yuhao were so excited that they stepped forward and wanted to pick it off. Jiao Ningxun turned her head again and said quickly, "Wait a minute, you don't know how to pick it, I'll help you." The two of them had no choice but to nod. Jiao Ningxun quickly picked it off for them and put it in Lu Yufeng's hand. "Take this purple Ganoderma lucidum and look elsewhere first. Don't go far and see if there are any more. If you find it again, you will be considered rich." Lu Yufeng took it carefully and obediently went to look at other places with his brother. After Jiao Ningxun confirmed that they had left, he recited the birthing formula near the area where purple Ganoderma lucidum had grown before. Growing in the ground around the purple Ganoderma lucidum, it is very likely that there are the same mycelium. Let her help them grow out quickly. Sure enough, after a while, 4 more purple Ganoderma lucidum sprouted not far from the one just now. The location is exactly where she didn't notice it just now. She didn't notice it, and neither did the two children. As her spiritual power increased, she experimented with birthing formula several times during this period and found that she could control the size of the induced body with her thoughts. So she controlled one of them to be about the same size as the two children, and the other 3 were 3 or 4 times larger. I heard that the Ganoderma lucidum was too big and had no medicinal value, so she didn't let it grow too big. Jiao Ningxun quickly picked off all the purple Ganoderma, put the 3 big ones into the space, held a small one, and said with a smile, "Lu Yufeng, Lu Yuhao, look, I also found one." When the two children heard this, they ran over quickly and were very excited when they saw that she indeed had a purple Ganoderma lucidum in her hand. "Sister is so awesome. This way my sister can sell it for money." These two children are very innocent and have no jealousy. Moreover, Jiao Ningxun had just saved them, and they were really happy for Jiao Ningxun. Jiao Ningxun put the purple Ganoderma into her backpack and said with a smile, "Let's go, it's almost noon, let's go down the mountain." Jiao Ningxun heard Jiao Shulan say that when their cousin was suffering from leukemia, the Lu family donated 100 yuan to their cousin under the mobilization of the village chief, no matter how difficult it was. You must know that the salary of a person in China at that time was generally only a few hundred yuan a month. Therefore, because of their past friendship, Jiao Ningxun was worried that the Lu family was ignorant of the goods, or that they might have been cheated by others when selling purple Ganoderma. She was also afraid that the two children would be scolded, so she personally sent them back. On the way, she also quietly recited the mantra to the two children's purple Ganoderma and enlarged it, so that the medicine would be more effective. As expected, everyone in the Lu family went crazy looking for the child. I saw the two children coming back from a distance. Lu Yufeng seemed to be wet, and his grandma suddenly became angry. Lu Fuxiang said angrily, "You two, did you go to the river to play in the water again? How many times have I told you that you are not allowed to go to the river? You insist on going, and I won't take care of you." Li Quilian also said loudly, "Is that the river where you children go?" There are water ghosts there. If you are dragged down, you will drown. How do you want me to explain to your mother? Lu Yufeng came to his grandfather. He was not angry or frustrated at all because of being scolded. He smiled and raised the purple Ganoderma to his grandfather's eyes. Grandpa, don't be angry. We went to the mountains with our uncles and aunts in the village and found this. My sister said this can be sold for money. Lu Yuhao also said, Grandpa and Grandma, you can really sell it for money. Lu Fuxiang looked at the thing in front of him, took it carefully, and said in surprise, Ganoderma lucidum? It's actually Ganoderma lucidum. Xiao Ningxun followed the two little guys and walked over with a smile. It is indeed Ganoderma lucidum, or purple Ganoderma lucidum. I read it online and it is quite valuable. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 68. Worthful? Li Quilian asked excitedly, Ningxun, you have read the book. In your opinion, how much is this purple Ganoderma worth? Xiao Ningxun said, I'm not sure, but this one is wild, and it's not bad in size. It should be worth 1,000. It's probably not worth the price in town. You'd better go to a Chinese medicine shop in the city to sell it. There are many rich people in the city, so you can get more money. But if it's less than 1,000, don't sell it. Those are people who want to take advantage of it. Li Quilian nodded quickly, okay, we will listen to you. 1,000 yuan is enough for their family's living expenses for more than 2 months. That's right. Xiao Ningxun glanced at the two children, don't scold them, they are very sensible. Lu Yufeng's clothes got wet because he was looking for purple lingzi. These days, there are very few such sensible children. Lu Fuxiang nodded, okay, we will listen to you. Thank you very much for sending them back. It's okay, I'm a fellow villager, it's just a matter of effort. Xiao Ningxun said a few more words, then turned around and returned home. I heard that the fresher the Ganoderma lucidum, the higher its nutritional value, so she didn't waste any time. When she got home, she took out all the Ganoderma lucidum, took a few photos, recorded a few videos, and sent it to the vegetable seller group. The people in that group are all rich people. Rich people like this kind of elixir the most, and it should be very popular. Qiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang heard something moving in the yard and came out of the kitchen to take a look. Sure enough, they saw their granddaughter coming back from collecting a lot of medicine. After seeing the things on the dining table, the two elders were stunned at the same time, and quickly walked over to take a closer look. Qiao Kongsheng said with surprise on his face, is this Ganoderma lucidum? We actually have this thing in the mountains. Ye Kaixiang said, I heard that Ganoderma lucidum is a good medicine and it is very valuable. It is indeed Ganoderma lucidum. Xiao Ningxun smiled and recounted the process of finding Ganoderma lucidum. Qiao Kongsheng touched his beard and said, those two children are quite smart. Yeah, thanks to them I was able to find so many. Ye Kaixiang asked, then how do you plan to sell it? Xiao Ningxun had already thought about it and said with a smile, I'll try to contact you online to see if I can sell it at a high price. The two elders nodded at the same time. The granddaughter was very independent in what she did, so they stopped interfering. After the two elders left, Xiao Ningxun turned on her mobile phone, and the vegetable seller group suddenly had dozens of unread messages. This is wild Ganoderma lucidum, you can tell it at a glance. I want it. This Ganoderma lucidum seems to be of good quality, I want it too, to respect my elderly family members. I want this Ganoderma lucidum, I just need it. How much do you want to sell it for? Hey, don't fight with me, I want this Ganoderma lucidum. Wild Ganoderma lucidum is so powerful, I want it too. Don't fight with me, I want it too. Hey, first come, first served, I said it first, these Ganoderma lucidum belongs to me. Do you want them all? The leader of the group said there are 4 in total. Leave some for us. That's right, that's right. I bid 1001 catty. 1001 catty is too little for such good quality, I think it should be at least 2001 catty. I will pay 2001 jin. I will pay 2002 1 jin. Hey, you guys are going too far, you don't raise prices like this. The following news is similar, they are all about people competing for Ganoderma lucidum. Xiaoning Suan, there are 4 here, one is the smallest, and the other 3 are bigger. You can't see them clearly on the phone. If you have time, why don't you come over in person? I still have some morels and morels in my hand. Matsu take, some vegetables have also grown, you can just come and buy them, and I can still give you the quantity of vegetables from last time. But also some vegetables have grown. Birth was carried out. The family is now immune to the strange things happening at home, and they pretend they don't know anything. Within the group. That's right, Ganoderma lucidum is so expensive, so it's better to see it with your own eyes. Yes, then I will ask someone to go there in person. If the quality is really good, I can pay a high price. I also sent people there. The boss asked us to join the group, and it was indeed right. Not long after we joined, we met a lot of good things. Ah, are there finally fresh vegetables again? I've finally waited. My family was talking about the vegetables from the group leader. I didn't expect them to be available so soon. I also sent someone there. Group leader, when do you have time? I will also send someone to your place. Xiaoning Suan, I will be at home in the afternoon. You can send someone over at any time. Okay. Okay. Yan Jiaxi had been watching the messages in the group and suddenly sent a message, you'd better coordinate the time, otherwise the one who arrives first will definitely have an advantage. The group exploded again. I heard that the group leader has an old man at home and must take a nap, so we shouldn't go too early. If you are a brother, just listen to me and enter the group leader's house on time at 3 o'clock. No one is allowed to go in first, otherwise don't blame me. I don't recognize you brothers. Okay, it's settled. Okay, you have a reasonable consideration. I agree. The group was quickly flooded again. Lu Jing I read the group messages and asked, cousin, do you also need that Ganoderma lucidum? There are 4 in total. 4 people can have it. The old man should be in great need of it. Chu Yanyi said calmly, okay, you go there, then. The veins on Lu Jing I's forehead twitched, and he felt very uncomfortable and said, cousin, we are all in the same group, do you want to trick them like this? A pit, how can this be considered a pit? Lu Jing I spread his hands helplessly, okay, if you say no, then it's not. I'm going to eat first, and then I'll be there after eating. Okay. The buyer's matter was settled, and Xiaoning Sun also went to the kitchen to help. She had already found many medicinal materials, so after lunch, she and her grandparents prepared the dishes together, and then made medicine on the roof while waiting for the guests. At 3 o'clock, my grandparents had just gone out to the fields. She saw a stranger driving up on the roof of the building and quickly went downstairs. After opening the iron door, those people were about to knock on the door. Xiaoning Sun took a look and found that they were basically the same people who came to buy groceries last time. At a glance, there were 5 people in total. It seems that some people in the group are not interested in Ganoderma lucidum. You were having fun in the group just now, were you just joining in the fun? Seeing that someone she knew was also inside, she asked doubtfully, Lu Jing do you want to buy Ganoderma lucidum too? Lu Jing smiled and said, yes, Ganoderma lucidum is a good medicine. Everyone with elderly people at home wants it. Hearing this, Xiaoning Sun didn't ask any more questions. She probably bought it for the old man behind her house. Yan Jiaxuan smiled and said, little girl, we meet again. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 69. Xiaoningsun nodded. Hello, thank you for coming to take care of my business again, please come in. Some people in the group couldn't come, so they asked us to take the food away for them. Okay, I'm ready. The 5 people followed Xiaoningsun into the yard and were extremely surprised when they saw the brand new old Xiao's house. The last time I came here, it was still an ordinary farmyard, and you could smell all kinds of livestock excrement at the door. Unexpectedly, just a few days later, the yard would look like those in the villas, all kinds of electrical appliances would be installed, and the layout of the home would be almost the same as a commercial house in the city. Lu Jing'ai saw the changes in Lao Qiao's family and nodded with satisfaction. If you have some money, you should spend it. How comfortable it is to live like this. It would be good to have immortal magic. It would be great if he also had it. Xiaoningsun led them into the living room, his eyes resting on the table. These are the 4 purple Ganodermolucidum I found, 3 big ones and 1 small one. Although the sizes are different, they are indeed wild. I will notify you as soon as I find it in the morning. The 5 people came forward at the same time and saw a table of Ganodermolucidum. Even though they had seen it on their mobile phones, they were still surprised to see the real thing. Some people even took out their magnifying glasses and looked carefully. Lu Jing'ai knew that these were all good things after just taking a glance at them. Especially the 3 big ones, which can be regarded as the best, neither big nor small, and they grow just when the medicine is most effective. If he guessed correctly, it was probably Xiaoningsun who used immortal magic to ripen it. Very quickly, 10 minutes passed. Seeing their delay in bidding, Xiaoningsun asked anxiously, everyone, what do you think of these Ganodermolucidum? Lu Jing'ai smiled and said, they are all top quality, very good. A man said, little girl, my name is Li Quan, are there any adults in your family? Xiaoningsun said calmly, everyone, don't worry, I found these, and I can make the decision. Lu Jing'ai also spoke for her, she's right. Li Quan was relieved and asked, little girl, how do you plan to sell this Ganodermolucidum? Xiaoningsun had checked the price online before they came. I don't sell it by the kilogram, I just sell it one by one. The smallest one is only 1,500 yuan, and the other 3 are 2 just in case. These are Ganodermolucidum that she used to induce the growth of immortality. The efficacy of the medicine is much better, and she is not arbitrarily bidding. The smaller one is indeed very small, that's why the pricing is so different. Sure enough, none of those people showed any expressions of being too expensive. Lu Jing'ai curled his lips and suddenly said, I want them all, don't try to them from me. What I said first is mine. Yan Jiaxuan said dissatisfied, Lu Jing'ai, you are so unkind. There are 5 of us here. Others also said. Yes, Mr. Lu, we can't go back and communicate with our husband if you are like this. Yes, I think it depends on who the seller wants to sell to. Yes, it depends on what the seller wants. For a moment, everyone looked at Xiaoningsun. Xiaoningsun frowned, Lu Jing'ai must have come here to trick her. Behind these people are all her future gods of wealth, and it is hard for her to offend any of them. When she was thinking about how to get through this crisis, Lu Jing'ai said with a smile, okay, what you said makes sense. Your husband and I are both friends, and I don't want to be blamed by them in the future. How about this, let's bid. The one with the highest price gets it? Yan Jiaxuan was the first to agree, okay. It's just money, my eldest brother has plenty of it. Others nodded in agreement. Their husbands had guessed that this would happen when they arrived. After all, there were many people in their group and few Ganodermolucidum, so they had to bid in the end. Xiaoningsun suddenly breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, "Okay, let's start with the smallest one. The base price is 1,500 yuan. Everyone is welcome to bid. The one with the highest price will get it." Others who came to buy Ganodermal lucidum for others quickly called their husbands. After quickly explaining the situation, they asked their husbands to bid on their own. Lu Jing'ai, 4,000. Yanjiaxuan, 4,005. Sounds are also coming from the mobile phone one after another. 5,000. 5,005. 6,000. Lu Jing'ai, 10,000. Everyone. Yanjiaxuan glared at Lu Jing'ai, "Is there anyone who offers you such a price?" Lu Jing'ai said innocently, "Yes, haven't you seen it before? Then you have seen it now." Yanjiaxuan had no choice but to give up. This one is the smallest, so it's okay to let him get it. If the price is increased, they will be taken advantage of. Although they have money, they cannot spend it randomly. One person suddenly said, 11,000. Xiaoningsun didn't expect that such a small plant could be sold for more than 10,000 yuan. He was extremely happy. 11,000 once, 11,000 twice, 11,000 three times, the deal is done. Congratulations on this Mr. Xiaoningsun personally stepped forward and placed Ganodermal lucidum in his hand. The man smiled and said, "Thank you very much." Xiaoningsun looked at the second flower. "The base price is 20,000, let's start bidding." Lu Jing'ai was the first to speak, 40,000. Everyone. Yanjiaxuan couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, "Lu Jing'ai, are you here to cause trouble?" Other people also heard complaints from their mobile phones. "Lu Jing'ai, don't let me see you." "Lu Jing'ai, are you no longer a friend?" Lu Jing'ai said with an innocent face, "No, I really want it." Yanjiaxuan clenched his fists and shouted the price, 41,000. 42,000. Yanjiaxuan, 45,000. The rest of the people stopped shouting. Yanjiaxuan looked like he was bound to win. There were still 2 flowers left, so they might still have a chance. Xiaoningsun, 45,000 once, 45,000 twice, 45,000 three times, the deal is done. Congratulations to Mr. Yanjiaxuan. Yanjiaxuan breathed a sigh of relief and took the Ganodermal lucidum from Xiaoningsun's hand. Soon the third flower was sold, also sold for 45,000. When the price for the last flower reached 40,000, Lu Jing'ai suddenly said, 50,000. Everyone. You really don't care about money. Yanjiaxuan glanced sideways at Lu Jing'ai, "Are you here to cause trouble today?" "No," Lu Jing'ai said with an innocent face, "I really want it, otherwise I wouldn't have bid so much. I saw a lot just now, so I wasn't in a hurry. Now there's only one left, so of course I'll bid it's a little higher. There are 2 old men in my cousin's family. He originally wanted 2 more. Everyone. Why do they feel that this person is full of nonsense?" A voice came from the phone in Li Quan's hand, 51,000. Lu Jing'ai, 60,000. Others gave up immediately. Wild Ganodermal lucidum is also found in other places, so you don't have to hang it on this tree. It's not worth spending more than 60,000 yuan to buy a wild Ganodermal lucidum. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 70. Xiaoningsun smiled and said, 60,000 once, 60,000 twice, 60,000 three times, the deal is done. Congratulations, Lu Jing'ai. Lu Jing'ai had a faint smile on his lips. He did not take the Ganodermal lucidum for the time being, and asked Xiaoningsun to give her the bank account number and transfer the money to her. He held Ganodermal lucidum and said, "If there are any good products in the future, even if they are sold in the vegetable market, we will give them a suitable price." Chiao Ningxun nodded, okay. At this moment, a voice came from Li Quan's phone, group leader, do you still have any wild Ganoderma lucidum? There is an old man at home, and I want to prepare it for him just in case. This, I can think of a solution for you. The other 4 people all got it, but he was the only one who didn't get it, which is indeed an offense. Li Quan was instantly happy, but before he could speak, the door was knocked. Everyone, please wait a moment, I'll be back soon. Chiao Ningxun opened the iron door, saw the person coming, and asked, Grandpa Lu, are you here? Lu Fuxiang said with a frustrated look, Ningxun, I know I shouldn't trouble you, but I really can't bear to sell such a good Ganoderma at such a low price. You told me not to sell it for less than 1,000, but the people in the town just give me 500, it's really a big difference. You must also sell your Ganoderma. I wonder if you have any channels that can help me sell mine as well. Li Quan had been following Chiao Ningxun with the phone in hand. Suddenly a voice came from the phone, Li Quan, how do you think the quality is? Li Quan looked at it carefully and said, the quality is probably a little worse than the small one just now. I wonder how much the old man wants to sell it for. After all, Chiao Ningxun picked it and then ripened it, so the effect of ripening it before picking is definitely not as good. Lu Fuxiang looked at Chiao Ningxun with some embarrassment. If you say too little, he will regret it, if you say too much, he will be afraid that others will not buy it. Chiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows and said, in my opinion, it's just 3,000. She didn't know that these people could bid before. She priced her smallest flower at 1,050 and someone raised the price, so she should be able to raise the price for this one as well. The voice came from the phone again, 3,000. I bought it? Yes. Chiao Ningxun looked at Lu Fuxiang, they paid 3,000 to buy it? I wonder if you are willing to sell it? Lu Fuxiang's eyes suddenly lit up. He turned to look at Li Quan and said excitedly, 3,000. Are you really willing to pay 3,000 to buy it? Li Quan nodded, yes, you should have heard what my boss said just now. We will not lie to others. The people in the living room saw that Chiao Ningxun hadn't come back yet, so they thought she had encountered some trouble, so they walked to the door and heard their conversation. 3,000, what 3,000? Chiao Ningxun also wanted them to come over and take a look. If they could also bid, the Lu family could get more money. However, the one Lu Yufeng found was smaller than hers. Each of these people has a fiery eye and already has one, so they should give up bidding. That's it, this grandpa also has a Ganoderma lucidum, that's it? Li Quan just said he wanted it, and offered 3,000. Others immediately stepped forward to take a look. 3,000 Ganoderma lucidum was considered too much. Their superiors didn't give any orders, and since they already had one, they had no intention of bidding. Chiao Ningxun asked, you don't want it? Others shook their heads. Chiao Ningxun turned around and said, Grandpa Lu, then you can sell it to this person. His name is Li Quan. Lu Fuxiang nodded. Li Quan suddenly breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that the others did not fight with him. He took out 3,000 cash from his wallet and handed it to Lu Fuxiang. Lu Fuxiang quickly handed over the Ganoderma lucidum and said excitedly, thank you very much. After saying that, he looked at Chiao Ningxun again and said with a grateful face, Ningxun, thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I might have sold 2,000 and 5,000 less. It's okay, it should be. Lu Fuxiang saw that there were still guests at Lao Chiao's house, so he didn't bother him and left quickly. As soon as he got home, his family gathered around him. Old man, how much did it cost? Lu Fuxiang said with a smile, I sold it for 3,000, and someone who happened to be buying Ganoderma lucidum came over and saw it, so he bought mine. The Lu family members were immediately very happy. With these 3,000, At least Lu Yufeng would have enough money to attend primary school next year. Chiao Ningxun led people to the corridor again. His eyes fell on the dishes that had been arranged. These dishes are yours. The quantity and weight of each portion are the same as last time. You can take them all. You want if you're bringing it for someone else, just tell me. Everyone did not hesitate after hearing the words. After taking the food and giving money, they planned to leave. Yan Jiaxuan walked at the end and glanced at the fruit trees in the yard. Group leader. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, just call me by my name, Chiao Ningxun. Okay, Yan Jiaxuan said, Chiao Ningxun, if you have any good things in the future, whether they are vegetables or fruits, you must inform us again. All right, definitely. After the others left, Chiao Ningxun put more than 10,000 yuan in cash in her grandparents' room, and the rest of the food money was transferred from the bank. She didn't waste time and took the time to go to the rooftop to make various medicines. After Chiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang came back and saw the money in the room, they didn't ask much. They just asked how much the Ganodermal lucidum had been sold for during the meal. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, a total of 161,000 were sold. The second elder nodded. In the past few days, the family has received hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they don't even think that this is more than 161,000 yuan. At night, Chiao Ningxun still went to bed early and came back at 5 in the morning. Although there are lights on the top floor, the visibility is still not as good as during the day, and staying up late is not good for the body. She always puts her pharmaceutical work during the day. Although the medicine in hand is enough for the family for the time being, it is far from enough to actually sell it. So now that she has finished practicing, she will look for a lot of herbs from 5 to 6 o'clock every day. Fortunately, the herbs on the mountain are extremely rich. Every time she induces them to grow, some of them will continue to breed until their seeds fall. Therefore, even if she collects herbs in large quantities, she will not use up all the herbs on the mountain. I just don't know why, but the fourth sentence has not been unlocked yet. On the way down the mountain, she met many people. At first, many people couldn't find the fungus in the past few days, and gradually everyone gave up. But yesterday, news suddenly spread from the Lu family that they had found Ganodermal lucidum and sold it for 3,000 yuan. Today, more and more people came up the mountain. Chiao Ningxun didn't want to waste time, so she avoided those people and went down the mountain, so no one noticed her. While passing by the river, Chiao Ningxun thought that no live animals had been put into the pond at home, so she went to the river. Seeing that no one was paying attention to her, she took out the bucket from the space, which she had prepared before. She came to the river, saw a fish on the side, and recited the temperature control mantra to the fish.